Seemed like the more cars went up, more people would stop and take pictures. People from all over. We've even had some people in foreign countries stop by and want to take pictures of them and have us talk to them about it. We just had a guy from, I think it was Russia, not too long ago, or Yugoslavia, yeah, Yugoslavia.
What people are traveling to see is a collection of whimsical sculptures perched above the Grand Island Body Shop.
They are actual cars. The characters are made out of the rebar, chicken wire, and concrete. But the actual cars, they don't have motors in them, but they're very heavy.
These high-flying characters owe their existence to the perpetual creativity of Fred Schritt, who was also the body shop owner.
He went to work at Green's Body Shop. He was 14 years old, and he loved it after that. Then he went to work for Schupens. He worked 6 days a week. And then in the evenings, he'd go out and paint airplanes to make extra money.
Fred was the kind of person who just didn't like sitting still. And so the same year he opened his body shop on the east side of town, he began building and racing custom motorcycles. After a long, successful career in racing, Fred finally hung up his helmet at the age of 70, but he still needed something to do with his spare time. And that's when a little input from his grandson came in handy.
He had an old wrecker out here. So then my oldest grandson, Jordan, had suggested it looked like Mater from the show Cars.
You're funny. I like you already. My name's Mater. Mater? Yeah, like Tuh Mater, but without the tuh.
He got the idea of making a wrecker out of it and then chopped it and did his hot rod thing that he liked doing to it and making a crazy face on it and ended up making the wrecker, and then he decided to put it on a pole. And so he ended up talking to this sign company next door, and he hired him to put in a pole and lift the car up and welded it to the pole, and the rest was history.
But after I built the first car, Pepper and a kid, well, everybody liked it so well, it made me happy, and they was happy, so I built another one. And everything I build, people liked it, so it's actually just like stuck when I build it, house or building.
On top of the building, he built Snoopy and, you know, the Red Baron and his house. And then the German, that was like an old 65 Volkswagen. And he chopped the end off and he made a tail for it. And then he made a German shooting at Snoopy. And the bullets were made from old spark plugs. Anything he could find, he would use on his vehicles.
One car is from the Coney Island. There's a restaurant in Grand Island called the Coney Island, and George is the owner, and that's George driving the Coney car.
My dad and him will go way back. He's been a long-time customer, and he just decided one day, he goes, "Hey, I want to build you a Coney car." I said, "Okay, well, don't mind. What do you mean, Coney car? I'll put you on a pole with the rest of the characters." I said, "Okay, do what you want to do." He didn't want me to look at it till it was about done, so I would look at it, so it was fine. He goes, "That's you." Everybody says, "That's you, George, up there." That's you. Yeah, he got me. He was a giving guy. He was big on the Humane Society, helping the dogs and all that. And a lot of good stories about him.
Over the years, Fred had many four-legged friends, but a favorite was his yellow lab named Buddy. And it was Buddy who inspired Fred to create the only car that isn't at the body shop.
He took it out there and donated it to the Humane Society. And they said that year that they had record-breaking sales of people adopting animals because people would go by and they'd see it. It was way up in the air, the car. Little kids would want to go in and see the dogs.
Then after most of the cars were up, one of his friends and him decided they were gonna make a sign out front that said Fred's Flying Circus. I'm not sure exactly how they came up with the Flying Circus.
Between 2009 and 2015, Fred built nearly a dozen cars, but a chronic heart condition caused him to dial back his work.
After Fred's health wasn't so good, he started making these characters, just the characters to put on a beam between the poles. On one beam, there was the Guitar Man, Smurfette, Tweety Bird, and then he decided he was going to do a Minion because he'd seen the movie about the Minions in one of the cartoons, and he thought they were pretty neat.
But the Minion was to remain unfinished, as Fred passed away in early January of 2016.
We talked about finishing it.
It was about probably a good 3 years.
So I finally got the nerve up to go back there and start messing with it, and finally decided how to go about it, and I finally started on it. It took me a while to finish it. I mean, it's such a small character, but he was a master at it. He could have had that probably done in a weekend, where it took me a few months.
We called it Fred the Minion, and that was the last thing that we put up.
After seeing Fred's collection of work, it may surprise you to know Fred never considered himself an artist.
Actually, one day he was talking about that. I'm not a very good artist. I can't even draw. All I can draw is stick people. Just because he couldn't draw a picture of a person or their face. I looked around and I was like, Fred, you're an artist.